Is it recording? There we go. We are live, folks. Well, my name is John, and this is
Paul. Nice to meet you.
This is the Brothers-in-Law podcast.
By law.
By law.
Don't even know our own name.
Well, the Brothers-in-Law podcast is a different one.
True.
So
Much
that's
worse.
Copyright. Because they have like 50 views. They're big time.
I know.
Woo! So
we have a special guest today.
We do have a special guest today. And her name is... You want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Victoria.
Awesome. There we go.
Yeah.
That was easy.
That was easy. That was really good.
Yeah.
So today we're talking about an awesome topic, special topic here. We are talking about
The flat Earth.
the flat Earth. Oh, we have this thing where we're like alternating talking.
It's really weird.
Let's stop.
It makes me uncomfortable.
So we are just gonna be. So Victoria believes in the flat Earth. So we're just gonna be like asking questions, more conversational, not really a debate or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because we don't
a
know
discussion.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So,
Victoria, do you want to sort of start us off and tell us sort of where this first came from for you, where you first sort of stumbled upon it?
Okay. And I know a lot of people like to leave this part out, but for me, it's kind of fundamental as to how to start explaining it, which would go through religion. So
Sure.
I grew up Lutheran, and then I started looking into Islam. And as I was researching and learning about it, I realized that like how the universe was described was not necessarily explaining our solar globe model. So that kind of just struck something, a confusion a little bit, but I didn't really hold on to it because I never heard of anything about flat Earth. So I just kind of like went on, and it wasn't until like maybe 4 years later that like this kind of started popping up on my feed, or here or there I heard about it. And I realized after looking into it, it kind of led me to understand the Quran better and make sense out of what was being said there in reality of what we see here, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah, so that kind of just was like a process. It wasn't all at once. I was like, oh, okay, there's flat and that's that. Like it was a lot of different things. Also learning about chakras, which has to do with the energies and aligning with our universe and how that correlates to the design of our universe and how that affects every living thing, really.
Awesome. So can you explain first like what a chakra is exactly?
Okay, so I guess we all have energy sources within ourselves. We're full of we're electrical beings, I guess you could say. Sorry, I am not well thought out right now.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah.
We aren't either.
Yeah. So there's 7 different chakra points in our body, and starting with root, going up to the crown, and each of them is like different vibrational frequencies that we connect with in order to open, enhance, heal, and truly be our true electrical, like, mankind. Like that what we are is like an energy source. And with the way our universe is set up above us, and the rotation, and it even goes into birth charts where the planets were and stars and sun and moon was what when you were born affects your energies of like either way. So chakras kind of just align you with the universe. So the 7 chakras, each aligning with the 7 atmospheres, firmaments, domes, heavens, however you look at it, 7 planets, they all create this divine timepiece above us. And when they are in orbit and aligned in a certain way, there's energies, and I'm definitely not explaining this the best right now.
That's
and
fine.
I apologize.
No,
But it's just like a general concept.
Yeah, it's late, so that makes sense. I've had a little bit of exposure with like chakras just from being around places and hearing about stuff, so I think I'm kind of in the ballpark. I don't know about you, John.
I'm not in the ballpark.
Well, that's all right.
That's okay. That's totally fine. Hey, we should put this mic just in the middle here.
It's fine where it is. It's okay.
You don't think it's going to cause feedback?
It's fine.
Okay, cool.
Sorry. So, all right. I guess I'm...
Chakras are really like off topic to the shape of the earth. It's not really my strong point of explaining my thought process. It just seems to line up with it. So I like to like throw it out there for people who do follow and understand chakras. Like, so it's like a understanding of how that correlates to the universe around us.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think this conversation would be kind of pointless unless we were the opposition. So John and I, well, I don't know about John. I'm personally of the opinion that I have kind of a weird opinion, so you actually might find this interesting. I think the Earth is round, but I actually wanted to ask you, does it matter one way or another? Like, if I'm right and it is round, does that affect you in any way?
I think the true shape of the earth is somewhat irrelevant. It's the fact of why they're hiding it. And when I say they're or they, it's not necessarily a person, it's more so an energy force. So I believe in the God and the devil, the positive and the negative. So like we're all neutral on the level plane of earth. And there's a force of good and a force of bad. And I think that this is covering the reality of our universe, so we are less likely to connect to it, to understand it, to be affected by it. So it's not necessarily like, even if this all worked on a globe, like it's not like, how do I say this? It's not the shape. The shape is irrelevant. It really comes down to a globe or a speck of a speck of a speck. You know, we're irrelevant. It's not necessarily a designed system. It wasn't
more
constructed
about whether it can be hidden.
So with having a flat stationary earth, the center of all universe, everything rotates around us. I know a lot of people, oh, that's so self-centered of you to say, but it's not in a personal way. It's like how the universe is created. We are the creation, and everything is ordained to be to service to earth, I guess you could say. So it just is a complete understanding of the universe rather than just a random chance of being that have evolved. And I don't know. Yeah.
So I guess if we are the center of the universe, so like the universe is hypothetically infinite. It's not actually, because infinite doesn't exist, but like because it's hypothetically infinite, couldn't anywhere be the center of the universe? Because it doesn't really matter. There's no borders. So like, does it matter that the Earth is, according to you, the center?
Well, center of which all orbit around. So even though what is expanded above is infinite, it's infinite outward. It's expanding infinitely. It's focused, and focal point is centered around the magnetic pole
I get
Earth,
what,
which is at the center.
No, Paul, I get what she's saying. So, like, it's expanding outward in all directions. Is that right?
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So we would still be the center. It's just
but I'm saying if you go like 300 miles to the
we
left,
aren't the center. The North Pole, true north, that magnetic force in the center of Earth is the center. So like if you're even in Africa, you're not the center technically, but like everything is centered around that expanding.
But true north and magnetic north are different, aren't they?
Well, North Pole and true north are different. So it's more so where our top of the globe is tilted on the axis is not accurately depicting where the true North Pole.
Well, because there's because like in the actual north, there's like the magnetic north, and then what we call the North Pole, right? That's what we're saying.
But like I'm saying, if the universe is infinite in all directions, does it? I mean, the like however far it is, say it's a mile between magnetic north and true north, does it matter? Because they are both the center, because there's no edges to go to, so they're both the center.
Well, you know how you have like even on the globe you have like the sorry, excuse me for a second.
No, you're good. Take your time.
The forces that kind of come up from the center and come around or whatever, like there's a central force to even the globe, which is the axis. But I'm saying the center, there is a true center, which is the North Magnetic Pole. Like anything outward from that is away from the center. So even though there's no boundaries, from what everything is expanding from becomes the center.
Gotcha. Okay.
I don't know if that makes sense, but
no, I think I'm getting it now. Yeah. All right.
So let's go into something that's a little bit more like concrete, I think.
Yeah, we're a little bit towards just visualizing
very metaphysical right now.
And and I don't know about you, but neither Paul or I are even like we can't.
Yeah, we're a little.
But okay, so the Earth, in your view, I looked some stuff up. Is it like the thing where it's like it's a circle, but it's the
like
circle is made out of like ice on the edges, right?
okay. So it's not like a true circle. It's not like defined by like a straight circle. Well, circles aren't straight, but
yeah, I get you.
It's an edge. You know what I mean? We're contained. Right. We're all within a container of a border wall of ice, which is then the infinite plane.
Okay. So there's a border
I
wall
think
of
if we
ice.
attach the photo to maybe under this, my explanations would make a little bit more sense to anybody who's listening.
Yeah, I think I can definitely add that in.
All right, cool.
So my question is like, so people that drove or not drove. Oh my gosh,
people who've gone to the
people that like flew from like North America to like Japan, right?
Okay.
I mean, according to that map, right, like that shouldn't be possible. Or are they just going the other way? I don't know.
I mean, longitude and latitude lines are still existent on the flat plane. They just don't curve downwards to a south pole. They extend as long as the plane. You know what I mean? So, like, when you are flying, you aren't adjusting to a curve. You're never dipping low to go around. And I know a lot of people will say, well, that's because of the atmospheric force. It brings you down with it, but you're never detecting that. What you are detecting, though, is whether or not you are constantly adjusting your direction, usually east or west, which creates a circle, which is circle navigation, which is around the North Pole. You are traveling around. And yes, you could do direct paths, straight ways. I mean, it's a flat plane, so anything goes. But when you are detecting and even traveling the sea, you usually always adjust your compass towards the north to a degree, so it creates a circle going around. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it makes sense to a degree. So, like, I guess what I'm saying is, like, if you're traveling from California to Japan, and then people leave, like, the airport in California, and then they go over the ocean, and then right away they're in Japan once they're across the ocean. But, like, according to the Flat Earth, you have to cross a lot of land to do that.
I mean, I can't speak about flight paths too confidently, like, but I feel like if you're flying from California to Japan, straight path, yeah, I guess. But then if there's like connecting flights and stuff, I mean, I can't really speak about this confidently, to be honest. I don't know what you mean. You'll see a lot more land on a flat Earth than you would.
Well, what I mean is people fly from like California to Japan, and they shouldn't be able to do that just by crossing ocean. They would have to cross some land, right? But like I know people personally that have gone to Japan. Like I had a friend in the military.
I think what he's getting at. So like if you look at just like a world map where it's just all laid out flat, California is like on the left with North America and all that. So if you go left across the North Pacific, on a globe, it makes sense because it rounds around. So you just go straight to Japan and you wouldn't cross over any land. But I think he's asking like on a disc shape, there's not really a clean way to go straight to Japan without crossing over, at the very least, Alaska and Russia. or if you go the other way around, you'd cross over obviously all the continental U.S. and
all
then
of the
Africa.
continents. Well, yeah, that would never be like a true flight path. I do think it could be either above over water, because it's kind of like straight across before you hit any of the continents. So you're not really traveling over a lot of land. You may obviously see a little bit. You're looking out to your right or something. I don't know. Like, I'm looking at a map as I speak, so I'm just looking at what I see.
Yeah, I think I think what he's trying to get at is like, is it so like on a globe, if you're looking at a map, right? So you've got like north, south, all that, and it's just a square.
Curvature, yeah.
If it's a globe, you just fold the two like opposing ends together, whereas on a flat Earth, to make the sort of
you'd have to fold
circle,
it downwards to a south.
Yeah, I think that's what he's getting at.
Well, right, because California to like Japan's a perfect example, because Japan's an island, and we know, I mean, besides like, I don't know, Hawaii, like you wouldn't, if you were traveling between there, you wouldn't see any land, and that's what we see. So I guess my thing is like, how are people faking our flight patterns when we...
So are you saying from California to Japan, you do see a lot of land, or you don't?
Well, what I'm saying is like, yeah, you wouldn't see any land at all from California to Japan.
Okay.
Right.
And now, do you fly west around the curvature, or do you fly north above the curvature to get down?
You would fly west, right?
I think she's got you. So I'm looking at a map of a flat Earth, and I think she's actually got you, John. So
all right, that's
if
fine.
you leave here, you'd go out that way, but it would essentially, I mean, it would look like a U-turn from above. So I just googled like flat Earth, and the first picture that comes up.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
what
there's
you're
like
saying.
there's Hawaii right there. So like,
pull that up again.
where is it? There it is.
I wish I could see what you guys are looking at.
Sorry.
Just like a
No, it's okay.
picture of like the flat Earth.
Yeah, it's
okay.
Yeah, it's like, so it's like the typical one where it looks like they just took a sphere and flattened it out. So like the North Pole's in the center,
which isn't completely to scale and accurate, but it gives you a representation of how it would be flattened in a sense. Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess that makes a lot of sense. So if you were going from California to Japan and you went in a straight line,
it would feel like a U-turn. It would look like a U-turn. So
yeah,
I guess how does the U-turn sort of happen? Like, because obviously planes don't turn themselves unless you tell them to.
And this might be hard for her because she probably I don't know if she has that open. And
well, that's fair.
This is probably kind of a
we're getting deep into this.
No, I mean, it's just kind of understanding. I don't know direct flights and what paths they take and stuff. I'm just looking at a sphere and a flat globe and map. So when you're saying from California to Japan, what I'm seeing is if you on a sphere, does that go around west to Japan, or does it go over the curve? So if it's going west, then technically on the flat one, you're going around and you're over water.
Yeah, I think so. You would be over water the whole time, regardless of flat or sphere. I think the confusion is, so like if you have, so like say you've got a dinner plate in front of you, and you have 2 points that are in the like appropriate spots for Japan and California, which on a flat Earth, they're like next to each other. So if you fly straight west, it's going to need to take a U-turn at some point.
Oh, wow.
Whereas if you go on a sphere, it's just like if you had a basketball and did the same thing.
Going around the curvature.
Yeah, you could keep a straight line.
I see what you're saying.
I think that's where the confusion's
You would have to like go over Australia and then like take a U-turn into Japan.
Something like that.
That's possible, I guess.
No, not totally down to, no, that's far out, the Australia to it in comparison, I feel.
Of course,
maybe
you would
I'm
just
wrong
go over.
I don't know.
You would just go over North America into like Asia, though, to get to Japan, I guess, in this situation.
Yeah, I mean,
and that would be. But I do know a lot of pilots have automatic adjustment, so it's automatically going in like that circular motion. So it's not that it's curving around Earth; it's just going along with the latitude lines.
Gotcha. Okay. I had one question that I was if you don't mind if you don't mind moving on a little bit.
No, please.
Yeah,
Okay.
by the way, like, feel free to stop us and ask us questions too, because
Yeah,
that might
for
even
sure.
be better than like what we're doing, because we don't really understand your position.
No, I
probably
like
as
the
well as you
discussion
said
of
ours.
it because I feel like we're both kind of understanding together how they interpret it on both options.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah. So my question was this. So John did mention before that you were. So actually, I wanted to clarify this a little bit. So you
Okay.
mentioned earlier as well that you were. Are you a fully Muslim? I know you mentioned Islam.
I mean, I don't know what fully Muslim means, but yes, I follow Islam to an extent, and I am Muslim. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just meant like you believe you believe the Quran, Hadith, Sunnah, all those three.
Yes.
Okay.
My
Gotcha.
personal religion is not fully following, but overall, my beliefs are within Islam. Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. So my question, you mentioned that Islam was sort of what generally pointed you in the direction of the flat earth I assume just because of like how the the descriptions are made in the Quran, is that right?
Same, and it's very relatable to the Bible too.
Sure. Okay. I actually might have to disagree with you on that one, but I want to get this first question out.
Sure.
I did a little bit of research. I'm definitely not an expert or anything. There was a caliphate in, I think, I want to say the 8th century.
Okay.
I cannot remember his name. It was it'll come to me in a second.
Sure.
No, it wasn't Al-Sharpton. There was a Muslim caliphate who went. He paid a bunch of cartographers to go up on a mountain, and they actually according to my view, correctly calculated the circumference of the Earth in the 8th century, where like they did the math, and they found that it was a sphere. I'm just curious what like. Let me see if I can find the article on it while you.
I was going to say I definitely need to look at what you're referring to be able to comment, I guess, because right now I'm not truly knowing
that's
what you're referring to.
That's fair, and we have to be careful not to like bring things up that it's like, okay, there's this guy in the 8th century, like who knows.
I didn't know that was his name. Al-Mahmun. Okay, let me find the exact article on it, but let's see. Al-Mahmun.
Can you just say what it was again?
Al-Mahmun, Mahmun.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I'm trying to find the exact thing that I was reading. Mamun, not H. No H.
All right, spell it one more time for me.
Al-Mamun. Mamun.
Okay.
And I am trying to find it.
Okay, so first thing I see is that he encouraged the study of Greek thought.
Yeah.
So that already shows that he has some like Greek mythology mindset to him. I don't know. I haven't looked into this, so this is just like as I'm.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm sorry, it's not fair to. Like,
yeah, no, I'm not. I wasn't. Sorry, I'm definitely not trying to like pull a gotcha on it. I was just curious what you'd make of that.
Maybe.
Well, I could definitely look into this, and then we could have a follow-up conversation on it.
Yeah,
but I think on the topic right now, it's too much to look into and speak on
for sure.
At the same time.
Yeah, I think I found the article in question. I'll send it to John and have him send it over to you.
Yeah, just send that. But let's
yeah,
we'll move on. So I have a question. Actually, wait. Victoria, do you have like any questions or like anything you would want to say? Because we're kind of like dominating the conversation.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. I mean, I feel like it's going equally, but all right. So I guess I know you guys aren't like really in depth into this debate. It was kind of more of a topic of a video, which I think is great regardless.
Yeah.
But before deciding to have this kind of introduction to this idea, what were your thoughts? Like, what did it even occur to you to question it? Are you really strong and like scientific where you're like, this is like, I don't know, like, how did you guys view our universe, our creation before this topic was brought up, I guess?
Sure. John, you want to go first? Or do you want me to go first?
Yeah, I never questioned it. I
Okay.
never questioned that the Earth was a globe, and that's why I was interested in talking to you, because I'll be honest, like it seems kind of out there to me,
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
as I'm sure it does to most people if they start
I'll
believing
be
in it.
honest, there is not one family member or friend that will even have a conversation with me about it because it sounds so far-fetched. So like,
And
I
that's
understand. Yeah, like I just understand that it is wild, but when I could expand on it, if people are willing to listen, um, it just kind of makes it more of a reality for me, I guess.
yeah, and that's I
Um,
mean, I
yeah,
just like listening to people with different views anyway. So like for me, it's part of
exactly.
what I
Yeah.
do. Um,
Yep.
so to answer your question, my view is like I never questioned that the Earth wasn't a globe, or questioned that the Earth was a globe or anything like that. What about you,
Never
Paul?
question the shape of the earth. Yeah.
Yeah, never. I can't talk obviously, but I never questioned it.
No.
Like I was taught that as a
Yeah.
kid.
No.
Never questioned it.
Yeah. I'm.
Same. Until recently.
Yeah. I think I kind of had a similar ish. I mean, so I always grew up and it was just sort of taught to me. I was homeschooled, so my folks just told me that's what it was, and I was like 5 at the time, so it seemed like pretty reasonable to me.
And you trust the people who tell you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So like, but as time went on, I started. So like, it was a couple years ago when this whole thing started, sort of getting started, when more people were talking about it, and so, or at least that was when I started hearing about it anyway. So
Yeah.
I was curious. I was interested in it. So because I'm very wary of the government in the best of days, so I thought, lifelong conspiracy, that's right up my alley. So I started looking into it, and I
Cool.
think the thing that sort of I came to the conclusion that, like I said, it doesn't really matter to me whether I'm right or wrong. I just don't think it matters, honestly.
Okay.
But like I
And I
think,
could relate to that a little bit.
yeah, I think when it came down to it, I started looking into some of the stuff, and it seemed to me that all the like tests that I saw like online where people were trying to test it, it seems like the tests are all really inconsistent. Like the same test can turn out evidence for. I saw one test. There's the same test, and one person got a result that proved that the Earth was flat. One person got a result that proved that the Earth was round, and one person got a result that proved that the Earth was inside out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like it just I always was confused because it's like they all seem to prove the opposite of each of the same test. So
Yeah.
I didn't really care about it that much because I don't know. I don't think it affects me.
Well, I feel like there is always, no matter how many truths about it, will always have confusion around it. There's always going to have that, like, the unknown, because I think it's so far into the one world order kind of thing to throw that in there. So to expose it, it will be near impossible.
Sure. Yeah.
But with understanding the concept of it, you could realize where the deception comes in.
Sure.
But that's, again, just the way that I have came to way of thinking. But
Sure.
yeah, I don't know.
That makes sense. Yeah. I think so. I think to get any further on this conversation, because I think the evidence thing sort of kind of points in both directions at this point, depending on which test you're looking at.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious. So you've mentioned that like the negative energy is sort of the one that's projecting the confusion about the shape of the world. So obviously that negative energies and stuff is not, and you'll have to forgive my ignorance on this one. I'm not super familiar with Islam, but as far as I'm aware, like the whole energies and chakras thing is not super deep in traditional Islam. Am I wrong on that?
No. Yeah, no, chakras is separate from Islam in that sense, but the understanding comes to the same oneness, I guess you could say.
Okay.
Different fields of knowledge, but to the same conclusion.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess it's so I'll be upfront. My worldview is so I'm a Christian. Both John and I'm sure John
Okay.
you already knew. John and I are both evangelical Christians. So the
Okay.
whole energy thing doesn't really fit into the traditional Bible believing Christian worldview. So my question is sort of how I don't know. It seems like so there's a high standard of evidence for like whether or not the earth is round, which is good. I believe there should be a high standard of evidence for everything. But it seems like how do you rectify the high standard of evidence required for like the roundness of the earth, but then energies is there any evidence for those that you've seen?
Well, I mean, a whole universe is of energy. Electromagnetic force is what is creating, even you say gravity. Like, I know a lot of flat earthers will be like, gravity doesn't exist, but it's the term that they're kind of relating to rather than the actual force.
Okay.
The force of gravity is undeniable. Like, it's here. It's just the term gravity confused people because it's what's needed to explain why we're not spinning off and flying off a globe rather than just a force of electromagnetic fields, forces rotating, orbiting above. So sorry, I'm trailing off topic a little bit. We
No,
were
you're
saying, I kind of lost my train of thought.
I know where we could kind of
So
go.
energies,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
So like energy, we're water, we're a conductor of electricity. It's known that we're electrical beings. So energy is again something that is undeniable, but people don't like to see it as like a proof to explain. It's just like a I don't even know how to really grasp the whole.
Trust me, we do this every week. We've gotten a little bit better, but like
Yeah.
we get on a podcast and we're like
We lose our minds.
we're like, wait, how do words work? I don't.
Yeah.
So please,
It's weird, yeah.
Yeah, don't feel bad.
no one's on here to like make anyone like look dumb or
Yeah,
anything
no.
like that. We're just having fun, honestly.
Yeah.
But I have a
Yeah,
question.
no, and I appreciate that. I like the relaxedness of it. I don't like debates. I like to just express both of our thoughts and kind of see where they find the common grounds. You know, like for
Yeah.
energies, your question whether they exist, but yet, I mean, scientifically proven we are electrical beings. So
Well,
everything that's
if I might, so like
Yeah.
I agree there is electricity used in like the human body, like the brain impulses and all that, sure, but like we can measure electricity, the type of
Yeah.
like so like the energy like you put I think you put correct me if I'm wrong, but like the energy that creates gravity, we can't really measure that apart from in like a way that we explain it with mass density and how it attracts things because it's so heavy.
Yeah, buoyancy, density, all of that. I mean, it's what gravity is.
Yeah, but my point is
so
like we can explain gravity using sort of like scientific terms, but the energy explanation we don't really have any evidence for. Is I'm just confused.
Okay. Yeah, because that kind of goes towards the unseen world in a sense. You know, like yeah, I guess it goes towards religion, but there is other creations other than humans which are amongst us in our universe, and that's I guess where aliens come into the play. But like, there's jinn, which are spirits. There are angels. These things are in the unseen. So I mean, there are ways to. No, there's not a way to measure like a existence of a jinn or a spirit or whatever you want to look at it. So
Right. So I mean, it's kind of a faith thing in the same way. Like
a little bit.
I believe in things that I can't see,
like angels,
like angels. But I guess like we can see and demonstrate the world through science, and that's what science is what you can test and demonstrate and see.
Yeah, but I mean, the energies of like spiritual energies, let's just say that, isn't of what's needed to understand a flat earth. That is just a side note of what's amongst us, in a sense, rather than the actual electromagnetic force, which creates gravity and has the effect of buoyancy and density, and that all is measurable. That is being measured. It's just unfortunately in the way of a globe, because that is what the ultimate deception is being told to us as.
Can I ask a question, Victoria?
Sure.
So I'm having a hard time, like, with the deception part. Like, I'm having a hard time understanding what the benefit of, I guess, our governments and NASA,
or the negative energy.
And well, like, I mean, what's the benefits of hiding the truth, or the truth of a flat Earth, or trying to get people to believe in a spear? Like, what's the benefit of that?
Okay. To downplay our importance, in simplest terms, like, there's a purpose for this world. It's a short temporary dwelling, you know, it's a test and trial. And since the devil was cast to earth, his main goal and promise was that he would try to deceive all of mankind away from the knowledge and connection with God. So it's not necessarily the globe holding it all together. It's just this whole plan to have mankind pretty much dependent. And I don't want to say like on the devil because it sounds so religious in that sense, but like the corruption of the government, the corruption of just the people in power, that 1%, that elite, that Illuminati, if you want to throw that out there, you know, that kind of concept is what is trying to keep us deaf, dumb, and blind, really. Because once you have realized that that is all a scheme and we are truly the center of the universe on a flat plane with everything rotating around us, it brings a connection to our universe. And like, that is, I think, their biggest fear, is knowing that we are in control of our own, you know, rather, like, I really think right now they're trying to get all of us just dependent on them. One world order, that's it. Like, even with this whole pandemic, which is a little off topic, but plays into the same deception that we were fooled with as a globe right now as a pandemic.
Yeah, I actually 100% agree on that part. Like, right on.
Yeah, like, it's a deception. And you'll say, well, who's doing it? What's their main goal? What's their point? It's the same questioning for the flat earth. They're both big deceptions in order to continue with their main agenda. So, I mean, a lot of people will just write me off as crazy, but if you really go into the depth of the ones in control of our world, it's just inevitable.
Yeah. So like, I definitely agree that, so I probably will get in hot water for saying this, but like, I definitely agree that the whole like pandemic thing is an exercise in control. But like, kind of. Well, I mean, I'm not going to say COVID doesn't exist. I caught it, but like,
no.
The extent.
Same. I'm not saying the disease doesn't exist. It's true. Unfortunately, it was man-made. It wasn't like a natural disease, so that's even more of a question. But regardless.
So I mean, like, okay, so with COVID and stuff, I think it's kind of like they're almost not doing it on purpose, but they want to keep that control over people. And I think
they're
it's like a subconscious
how much control
thing.
They could truly get.
Like but what I'm not understanding is, like, with the globe, like, I don't see how us believing that the Earth is a globe helps them have more power.
Right now, it doesn't. Right now, it's so far in that it's like that job was already completed. So anyone who talks about it is now just a conspiracy theory. But when it was happening, there was a lot of like, it was in the height of what this pandemic is, confusion, not like, it was not just easily accepted, I should say.
Well, so like the first, like, that we know of, the first person, or the first rather time frame where the globe was posited was in like 3rd century BC by a Greek philosopher. So like, what?
Yeah, so the
'cause
Greek,
it's
yeah.
they never put anybody to death for believing in a flat Earth or a globe Earth for that matter. I
No,
mean,
of course.
obviously there might have been like 3 people, but like the whole point of, so I think what John was trying to get at. So like with COVID, with the pandemic thing, there's a very easily to see and understand benefit. So like, we get locked down, so the government now has the authority and like reason to say they have the authority to keep us in our homes, prevent us from working. But like,
Yeah.
when the whole flat or globe Earth started, there wasn't anything like that, because there wasn't anywhere near that level of centralized government. So if Aristotle said, "Hey, the globe is round," that doesn't. I'm confused what benefit he gets from that, I think is what we were going for.
Okay, so I do think a lot of the confusion on the discovery of the discovery of the globe also came with a lot of like confusion. Like when Christopher Columbus sailed, like clearly he was going off of the marks of a globe Earth and yet landed somewhere different. So like it was still being discovered. I know that's a totally different time frame. I shouldn't compare the two, but just in the sense of, all right, hold on, let me.
Hey, you're good. You're good. Yeah. You're fine.
Yeah, so saying like what was the purpose of creating the globe thing and what was the benefit of someone who was discovering it and all of that, I think that was when history kind of comes into play as to what was going on historically during that time. It was a change of leadership, and also I'm not really on point with explaining this right now because I would like to be able to show with more facts rather than just
Sure.
And
explaining.
it's fine. Like if you don't really know, that's fine. I like,
Yeah.
you know,
It's not, yeah, it's like I don't know off the top of my head to be able to explain the time period of when it started and what was going on, but I do know the history. Well, I guess I could say the Islamic history of what led up to a certain point, and then when that kind of was cut off and the globe theory started. So like,
Yeah.
I know a lot of Muslim communities and scholars were very opposed to this globe theory, and I like to think, like, why would, like, there must have been a power move during that time of, like, at that time before the globe it was ruled by Muslim rulers, and then shortly after they were conquered, then this whole
but the globe Earth was
discovery
first
of the
popularized in
globe,
the
stuff like
Hellenistic
that.
period, and Islam wasn't founded until like the 500 AD, I think.
Yeah, no, it came after the fact, but I'm talking about when it was still considered a flat Earth. It's not like the globe was fully accepted at that point. So like when they, I don't want to speak too much on it because I'm gonna end up making a fool of myself. So I'm just gonna say I don't know on this one.
Okay,
but we
that's
could
fine.
continue this. We could continue this conversation if I could like go back, make my notes, and have a more laid out understanding of what to speak about.
Yeah,
when it
definitely,
comes to
for
this.
sure.
yeah, for sure. And you can probably tell I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm just having fun.
Yeah.
But I have a question. This is more of like a just for fun question.
Sure.
Can you like fall off the edge of the Earth?
No, because we are in an enclosed system, so there's no edge to fall off of. It's after the enclosure, pretty much.
So it's like a half
It's
globe.
So it's like
a
a snow.
firmament, right?
Snow globe from what we could see, but then there's like the seven hells below, the seven waters below, seven seas, all of that stuff. So it's a full sphere. It's just like the skies above and the earth's below.
Gotcha.
That makes more sense.
I think I've seen a couple models like that actually. Okay. Well, hey, I think we've definitely had a lot to talk about here. I know we talked about. Go ahead.
that we could go back to as well. Once we both have look into the topics a little bit more. But I'm really like pleased with this conversation, even though we'll look back and I probably will sound so stupid. I still think that a lot has come from it.
Yeah, no. I was gonna say, so I think we're probably gonna wrap it up here. I know I mentioned that like Al Mamoon guy to you. Do you have anything that you want us to look into before we meet again so that we can sort of trade homework?
Can
and
I
if
like?
Not, that's fine. You've got John's number.
No, I probably do. Just off the top of my head, I'm not like thinking of what to say. So I will
here's something that might be,
and then send it over to you.
Okay. Here's something that might be good. I've been wondering because I've been trying to like look it up on YouTube, and it's been hard to find like who's the expert on like the flat Earth? Who's kind of like the guy that you go to like listen to?
Myself.
You know what I mean? What's up?
Myself, innocent. I don't even know any names of anyone who believes in flat Earth. To be completely honest, I just look into a lot of different stuff, and what I hear is censored through like how do I explain? I don't follow anybody. I don't have one core person I go to for my knowledge. I will look at everything and anything and see how it applies to the description of our Earth, in a sense, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, I don't have a name to give you of who I look.
Yeah, maybe when you're researching for like any follow-up conversation we have, maybe like send me that stuff. I just want to like understand the theory better.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's my problem mostly is like I will gather all of my knowledge but forget the sources of what has led me to these thoughts. So even though they are not wrong, I can't give the evidence that people usually want. So I do need to get better on that. So with researching what I come up with for the one thing you brought up, I will definitely work on my sources.
Okay. Yeah, and like I said, I definitely wasn't trying to like pull a gotcha. I was just curious what you'd sort of get from him.
Yeah, no, of course. And now that you brought it to my attention, I have something new to look into. So
there we go. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I think we'll probably spend some time the next week or so looking into this, and hopefully we'll come back with a little bit more information next time.
Part 2 coming soon.
All right. Well, I really appreciate having the discussion.
Yeah. Thank you very much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Cool.
All right. Talk to you later.
Yeah. Have a good night.
Bye. You too.
Are live on OBS.
Oh, we were live the whole time. Okay. Yeah. On OBS.
That was an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
So,
now,
yeah. What do you think about that?
Okay, can you explain the Ogalobs, the Chogalobs, the
chakras?
The chakras.
Dude, you just muted the mic and told me to be respectful. The chakras.
No. I wasn't being disrespectful.
So,
I just
the Oogalobs and the Boogalobs.
No. I couldn't remember.
You could have just said the thing she was talking
chakras.
about.
Yeah. Okay. What I actually mean that. I'm curious. What are the chakras? I don't get it.
Here's my understanding. As someone who is definitely not an expert, who has never looked into the Eastern religions that it comes from. No, I'm going to explain this to you. All right. So I watch a lot of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and there is an episode where they talk about them. So my understanding is this. You've got 7 chakras inside your body. Okay. One is at the crown of your head, and then they're evenly spaced all the way down.
Okay.
And the way that they explain it there is imagine that you are a mountain.
Okay.
And there is a stream that runs from the top of the mountain to the bottom of the mountain.
Okay.
The chakras are the pools that the water stops off in. And so if your chakra can become blocked, basically it's like gunk gets stuck in the pathway to the next chakra.
Okay.
That's what it is. Now it has to do with the energies like she was talking about. Okay. Which as a Christian, I don't believe in any of that.
So she was kind of like saying like the energies and
she said that they sort of tie together and it's not that they explain the flat earth, it's that they work together with the flat earth.
So your body is made out of like electricity, or it uses electricity.
We are electrical beings.
And that's true, but I was trying to figure out the connection between that and like spiritual energy, it's kind of
I
different.
think
right?
it's, and this is definitely not meant as a slight against her. I think it's sort of a hodgepodge of a couple different religions. So like there's elements of Buddhism, there's
Yeah,
elements
that's what I was
of New Age spiritualism. There's a lot of stuff in there, which, and again, this is definitely not meant as a slight. Victoria, if you're watching this, we had a lovely time. I think there is a common problem with sort of, it's basically Build-A-Bear with religion, where everything that you like from different religions just sort of comes together, and there's not any internal consistency, because the Quran is very explicit that witches and the kind of stuff, the kind of behavior practiced in a lot of New Age circles, not all, but in a lot of New Age circles, is punishable by death. And the Torah, the Bible that we believe, is very similar. Like a lot of the like spiritualism stuff, like with altars and stuff that you can find in like Earthbound, like the trading company at like the mall. A lot of the stuff that's in there is grounds for execution.
In
So
both books, yeah.
There's a disconnect where you sort of take elements that you believe to be true from different religions and sort of mash them together as one. And I think it's not being internally consistent to any of them, which is the problem, because pretty much every religion in the world makes an exclusive truth claim. Everyone claims to be the only true religion, except like 3, but we all know that they're a little off the deep end.
Right.
So I think again, Victoria, I definitely don't mean this to be insulting. I think there's a inconsistency where you found a couple different things that make sense to you and you're putting them together, but the things that they come from expressly, violently in most cases, disagree with each other. Like, I mean, there's been wars fought over a lot less than the kind of stuff we talked about today. Islam has, on multiple occasions, gone to war over conversations like this. And there's not a lot of grace for different opinions in Islam. Because there's the dimitude and stuff like that, which, again, this is not at all meant to attack you. I really hope you don't take it that way. Islam has
all
a
you're,
very...
all you're trying to... I think you're kind of going off a bit, but
Probably.
I think all you're saying is basically like, it sounds like what you're believing is not just Islam. There's a couple things
it's not
in there.
mainly Islam. It's not mainly anything. It seems like just a group of things that you've taken and find to be valuable and have put them together in a hope that they'll make sense.
And everyone's
but they
finding
don't.
truth, it's like, some people don't even believe in a God at all, and
Some people don't believe in a truth at all.
some people, oh my gosh, true. Is that true? When you ask them, like, hey, let's say there's no truth. I talked to a guy, and I was like, is this grass green? And he's like, I don't know, is it green to you? I'm like, oh.
It shows a massive amount of internal inconsistency when someone says that there is no truth, because
that has to be true.
Here's the thing: it doesn't even show inconsistency. It shows that they are intellectually colorblind. They haven't even bothered to think about what they see. If they say that nothing is true, they are not even a first-year philosophy student in college.
But that's where most of them are.
Yeah, that's the thing. But so
most of them are in college.
I don't know. I think we're getting off track. I think I had a lovely time. Victoria, if you're watching this was a lovely conversation. I very much enjoyed it. I think we're good to go. To anybody else watching, if you enjoy, thank you very much for staying through the whole thing. Have a lovely time.
Yep. Like,
subscribe, comment, all the good stuff.
All that stuff.
And we will see you. Well, we won't. You won't see us either, because actually, you kind of will. Hey, I'm wearing the same shirt.
Oh, dude.
I'm wearing my orange shirt from the picture. All right. I'm going to go edit and try to figure out how to put that picture that she sent on there so we can sort of explain it better, I think.
But anyway, thanks for listening, all 3 of you. And we'll see you next week.
See ya. Bye.